It begins softly, almost suspiciously softly, in September 2013 in Toronto. Back then, Meghan was just another TV face on Suits, chasing the glow of a future she hadn't reached yet. But listen close, that very same month, guess who else was quietly moving through Toronto's streets? Prince Andrew. Yes, that Andrew. And here's where the whispers grow teeth. Insiders swear the two actually crossed paths. Not some polite brush by at a fundraiser. Not a staged smile for cameras. No, darling, they spent real time together. Meghan didn't stay overnight, but hold on. She was living only 4 blocks from Andrew's residence. 4 blocks. That's not fate. That's precision. That's access delivered on a velvet cushion. And not a single paper reported a word of it. The moment vanished, sealed tight like all royal sins, until now. But Toronto was only the fuse. The explosion brewed in New York. Meghan kept drifting there more often: photo shoots, elite gatherings, every glitter-soaked event she could slip into. And who else was orbiting that same glamorous universe? Andrew's daughters, Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. The York sisters became Meghan's gateway. Same after-hour spots, same inner circles, same intoxicating chaos. In 2014, Meghan's hairstylist posted a warm little snapshot with her, the very same stylist who popped up on Eugenie's page right after. Same players, same rooms, same late-night world. And then steps in the man who ties every secret thread into one pulsing web, Marcus Anderson. Darling, this man is a phantom with a VIP pass. Meghan's closest ally, her ever-present shadow, the unseen force ushering her into every door that shouldn't have opened. He's the global. Child, let me drop something on you that'll make the room go silent. Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew, 2 worlds you'd never expect to collide, yet here we are, watching the sparks crackle. It's as if the royal cosmos decided to stitch together the most chaotic storyline imaginable. And now the shattered puzzle pieces are finally snapping into place. And who lifted the veil? None other than Andrew Lownie, that relentless royal investigator who built his whole life around rattling the monarchy's cage. He's no tabloid storyteller, no attention-hungry whisperer. This man has crawled through shadows, dredging up truths people would burn evidence to erase. And darling, what he uncovered, it's the kind of revelation that makes Buckingham Palace tremble. See, Andrew Lownie penned one of the most volatile royal bombshells ever dropped. His work on Prince Andrew ripped through high society like a detonator. The man's received threats, real ones, the kind that don't come with warnings. But did he step back? Oh, not this warrior. He hunted deeper, like a predator locked onto a heartbeat. And every clue he traced pointed straight toward Meghan Markle. Meanwhile, the media, those polished British broadcasters, are acting blind. They see it. They just refuse to breathe near it. Because once you digest what Andrew Lownie uncovered, there's no turning your mind back. Membership director at Soho House, that secret-soaked sanctuary where privacy isn't a perk, it's a currency. And Anderson? He isn't just Meghan's close circle. The whispers say he's connected to Eugenie, Beatrice, and practically every royal-adjacent figure drifting between London and New York. Soho House isn't merely a club, it's an empire of closed doors, and Marcus Anderson is the quiet guardian, the man who knows which whispers to protect and which ones to let slip. Now let's step into this Soho House universe, because baby, this is where the shadows start overlapping. Owned by billionaire Ron Burkle, a man whose network, some say, could make even seasoned insiders shiver. Rumor has it that Burkle once arranged private flights for Meghan, while meanwhile Harry, her future husband, was reportedly flying economy. Imagine that for a moment, the prince in coach and the actress soaring private. If that doesn't hint at strange dynamics, what does? And Burkle's name? It drifts in and out of conversations that circle around Jeffrey Epstein's orbit, a dark world that once entangled Prince Andrew himself. Now let's be clear. No one is claiming Burkle was part of Epstein's inner sphere. But insiders love to note how his name appears nearby, lingering at the edges, always in the background. Now jump ahead to March 2017, a sun-drenched wedding in Jamaica. Tom Inskip, one of Prince Harry's longtime confidants, was tying the knot. A lavish affair, a glittering guest list, the perfect gathering for people who hover around royal orbit. And according to The Buzz, Meghan arrived on, yes, darling Ron Burkle's private jet once again. Harry, meanwhile, flew in from the UK like any regular man. But it's the attendees who'll make your pulse skip. Fergie showed up. Princess Eugenie was there. And quiet murmurs suggest Andrew may have been on the island, too. Photos exist, glossy shots of the newlyweds with Fergie and Eugenie smiling wide in the same tropical air. And who else was there, sharing that same patch of paradise? Meghan. Now here's where the royal storyline starts to crack around the edges. After Meghan and Harry married, Fergie claimed in an interview that she'd never met Meghan before the royal wedding. Never. Not once. She said it with such certainty, as if the words had been rehearsed. But that's where things get messy, because if she attended that Jamaica wedding and Meghan was there too, mingling in overlapping circles, then how could those worlds have never collided? You catch the drift? Someone isn't telling the whole story. And when the royals sidestep the truth, it's never accidental. It means a door is being shut on something deeper. That wedding wasn't just a tropical celebration, it was a quiet crossroads. The moment all these hidden connections brushed up against each other. And what links every thread? Meghan, Andrew, Eugenie, Fergie, Burkle? Soho House, every last one of them. Marcus Anderson stands at the center again, not merely as Meghan's trusted confidant, but as the silent conduit. The man who unlocks rooms most people don't even know exist. He rose through the Soho House. Ladder faster than anyone. He began as a simple staffer, rose to global director before hitting 40, and even had a wine label christened in his honor. Lady A, baby. That's not a workplace perk. That's dynasty-level symbolism. You name wine after family, not employees. Anderson wasn't a stranger to royal-adjacent circles either. Long before Meghan ever stepped into the story, he was already tight with Princess Eugenie. She trusted him, saw him as one of her own. So when Meghan needed that golden doorway into the glittering maze of British high society, guess who insiders say held it open? Marcus. Elegant, quiet, calculated. The same man rumored to trail behind Meghan across continents. Paris, London, New York, always one step back, always observing, always murmuring guidance. Soho House became her arena. Forget the slogan. The real motto might as well be, what you see disappears with the sunrise. Deals, alliances, flirtations, whispered opportunities, everything happens behind those velvet barriers. And that's where Meghan supposedly learned the choreography of high-stakes social power. But here's where the storyline detonates. David Boies, the attorney known for representing Virginia Giuffre in the case involving Prince Andrew, reportedly considered the idea of calling Meghan for information. Think about the weight of that, darling. A lawyer at that level doesn't even float a name unless there's speculation that the person might have insight into overlapping circles. And Andrew Lownie says that moment, that legal curiosity, is the thread that unravels the whole tapestry. When someone asks whether you might provide context in a case that monumental, it isn't whimsical. It means they think you were near the edges of a world with missing pieces. Meghan's name wasn't thrown around like gossip, it was discussed as a potential puzzle fragment. Now consider it, Meghan spent years within proximity of the York sisters. She received guidance from Fergie, moved through rooms where Andrew's reputation lingered, and circulated among people who crossed paths with all kinds of powerful figures, including those later tied to Epstein's orbit. So when accusations hit Andrew and her name surfaced among possible individuals to question, that's no coincidence. That's a thread in a web too big to ignore. Remember that Oprah interview? Meghan told the world that Fergie had to teach her how to curtsy before meeting the Queen. Everyone thought it was a cute story. But honey, if Fergie was supposedly teaching her how to curtsy, doesn't that mean they already had a relationship? That's not something you do with a stranger. That's familiarity. That's comfort. That's history. According to insiders, Meghan and Fergie had known each other long before that royal wedding. They'd met at events, spent time in overlapping social groups, and allegedly Fergie had been advising Meghan on how to survive royal life. Imagine that one woman who married into the family and crashed out mentoring another about to do the same. And you know what makes this whole thing darker? There are emails leaked once between Fergie and Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, that Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's right hand. These emails show Fergie and Andrew weren't as cut off from Epstein as they claimed. And who's leaking them now? Ghislaine herself. Straight from prison. She kept those emails like insurance, her get-out-of-jail card. And now she's dripping them out one by one, shifting attention toward Andrew and away from other names that could crumble entire institutions. Sources say there are thousands more emails, thousands, names, places, evidence. Each one a ticking bomb. And palace insiders are terrified because the closer investigators look, the more the royal fabric starts to tear. Inside the royal family, patience is running out. William's furious. He's done covering for Uncle Andrew. Parliament keeps passing the blame to the king, and the king keeps passing it right back. Nobody wants to make the call, but the public's had enough. They want Andrew gone, not just out of Royal Lodge, but erased from the payroll, erased from the palace corridors, erased from the monarchy's shadow entirely. And while the royal world trembles, Andrew Lownie doesn't pause for a breath. He keeps digging, keeps writing, keeps unearthing pieces no one ever expected to see daylight. 60 new pages. 60. That's not a revision. That's a detonation. And then he drops the real bomb. More political names are coming. People with influence, people with power, people who prayed their ties would stay buried forever. Suddenly, old sources who vanished years ago are crawling back into the light. They're tired of whispering. They're tired of being afraid. And Lownie? He's catching every confession like gasoline ready for the match. Now the web is growing wider, darker, and impossible to contain. And right in the middle of the storm, whether she wants the role or not, sits Meghan Markle. Follow the trail, a rumored encounter with Andrew in Toronto in 2013. Overlapping circles with his daughters in New York. Events with Fergie, the same Fergie who publicly pretended they barely crossed paths. Flights on private jets owned by elite power players. A close friendship with Marcus Anderson, the mysterious connector between aristocratic salons and high society circles. And whispers that she could have been called as a witness in Andrew's legal chaos. Now tell me, does all that sound like random chance? Because it doesn't look like chance from where I'm standing. Inside the palace, denial is the new national sport. Everyone is scrambling, rewriting memories, praying the narrative dissolves. But truth doesn't fade. It leaks. One email, one conversation, one forgotten witness at a time. The mainstream outlets might stay quiet, but behind closed doors the roar is deafening. Meghan and Andrew, two names never meant to collide. Yet here they are, tangled in the same headline, the same whisper networks, the same dangerous proximity. The deeper you dig, the messier it becomes. Threads snap. Lies unravel. And the border between innocence and entanglement gets thinner, weaker, almost invisible. And the wild part? This saga isn't even close to its climax. Lownie's next update is poised to hit like a seismic shock. More leaks are coming. More insiders are warming up to speak. The royal masks, polished, perfect, pristine, are beginning to slip. Soon, the world will realize the fairy tale didn't just fracture. It was built on a fault line of secrets. So now the real question rises. Did Meghan understand the world she was walking into, or was she just another piece on a royal chessboard, moved by hands more powerful than anyone could imagine? Because in this kingdom, darling, nothing, and I mean nothing, happens by accident.